My name is Dan Gordon. I'm the Vice President of Solution Design for Redwood Logistics. My role is essentially to engage with shippers, 3PLs, brokers, forwarders, et cetera, to try to address their technology as well as their just business side needs across transportation logistics. So today I want to talk a little bit about Redwood Connect, specifically around our 2.0 launch that is coming up on April 1st. And so we'll jump right in. First, let's talk about the problem. Overall, what we're seeing is the biggest issue in supply chain tech today is the problem of connectivity. It's something that we've talked about a ton previously, and something that we are approaching essentially with a single focus right now. And there's a couple of main drivers that fit and that feed that issue, and that is one, supply chain software overall. What we are seeing is that a usage and the actual spend behind it are both on the rise, and that's a global trend, but also a even larger in North America. New technology, in addition to that, what we're seeing on almost a daily basis is a new company coming out with a digital freight matching offering, digital brokerages, new data warehouses, AI, IoT, and then obviously everybody's favorite buzzword, blockchain. But those are some things that we continue to see. But then what we see is with that new tech or just the straight up software, all of that is far less valuable without integration. And that is that's something that Eric has, I know, written a ton about in the past. One of my favorite write-ups from him was really around an article that he had thrown out there, essentially highlighting that TMSs alone are losing over 50% of their total value when not integrated with a larger network. And so that's something that we definitely want to address out in the industry. Additionally, what we are seeing is the lack of IT resources is one of the biggest things that we are trying to pay attention to. And when we're looking at the IT resources at shippers, what we're normally seeing is that with the exception of essentially one company that we've come in contact with, we have never actually found anybody who is overstaffed at the IT position. And that's both from a resource as well as a budgeting perspective. Sorry guys, I'm just having some technical difficulties here. I think we should be back up and going here. All right. So that's essentially all to say, all of these challenges are coming up, but the biggest thing that we also see is, as well as with a lot of these legacy systems, a lot of these were put in place either home built or implemented in the 90s or even 2000s. They don't have an API layer. They're entirely incapable of integration outside of some more creative solutions, and so that's one of the other big things that we want to address. So let's talk about the Redwood story. This is where we can actually have a little bit of fun. Is just flashing back to about 7 years ago, and I've been with the company for about 10 years now. One of the things that we had when we came in was we had a ton of different TMS platforms across the organization, different divisions. Nobody was really fully integrated, and so not only couldn't they talk effectively, but in some cases those systems couldn't talk at all. In addition, we're also attempting to grow our managed transportation business, and we are trying to service Fortune 500 companies as a small, less than $100 million 3PL. That's obviously requiring these custom point-to-point integrations. Essentially, what was happening is we were attempting to deliver outsized supply chain management solutions, which by their very definition, those are super integration heavy. And so that, we're trying to provide that to both large scale and SMB shippers. And in the meantime, nobody had any type of IT budget in order to be able to support those integrations. And so in short, it's just not sustainable. So let's take a look at what our network actually looked like. And so that network overall, what we're seeing is every one of these point-to-point integrations that we were setting up in themselves were actually not a problem. There's if you have a single integration that you want to build out, it's actually not a huge issue to be going just in that single point-to-point. The problem is, as you grow that network out, everything becomes much harder to maintain, much harder to manage, to be able to report on. And then also, as soon as you start getting enhancement requests, as soon as you start getting any kind of changes that need to be made or a repoint, now you've got to go back and untangle this entire spider web and figure out, hey, what is it that is what is it that is going to be preventing me from backwards compatibility? Do I have to need to go through full regression testing on all of my integrations, et cetera? And so what we started to build out was this. We said, hey, can we create a single platform where our customers can connect one time and that's it? And that was what we ended up being able to do. So we said, we said, hey, look, let's just reuse all of these integrations. Let's start actually building out this this next gen platform for integration. And that was the genesis of Redwood Connect. And so let's talk a little bit about where Redwood Connect is today. And so this is where we're currently at. There's a few major components to this platform, but the first things that I want to call out are this. First of all, the people that are doing the work for any new process API that needs to be built out, these are non-developers. These are industry experts, people with supply chain expertise. They do need technical chops, but they do not have to write a single line of code to essentially take a new process API from point A to point B. Additionally, we've built the entire thing on AWS with the same SLAs, stability, and power that comes along with that. And finally, is the plug and play aspect of the platform itself, especially as it pertains to data warehousing and BI, things that we're now able to actually connect natively, regardless of what the back-end data warehousing solution is. So the architecture itself, we start with our core IP. Essentially what we've created here is a stateless ESB. And it's something that we spent years, and this is a truly innovative design behind how we actually built out this platform. What we do is we start by putting in a microservices model with a bunch of different connectors. Those connectors may be industry connectors, customer connectors, system connectors, etc. Then we take this API layer and we start abstracting that out, because again, a lot of those legacy systems cannot connect. And so we need to be able to solve that problem and actually create this abstraction layer. We can have managed file transfer, AS2. We can even strip information from an email should we need to. And then we actually build out that ecosystem. And so that ecosystem of shippers, carriers, partners, etc. And what we do is we actually create this box for a single customer tenant. And so this is essentially a microcosm of the full platform that's dedicated just to the throughput for each one of these customers. Allows them to start picking and choosing from their suite of supply chain technology, start stacking it on in any configuration that they want. And so from there, you start looking at any of those industry connectors, any of the services that they want to use, whether that be a tracking service, a rating service, or if they even want to stand up their own rating API for spot market rating. This is essentially their ticket to connect to anything. So I'm sure you want to know what it actually looks like. So I'll jump in and start breaking this down. Until now, Redwood's integrated backend has provided speed, power, and flexibility across an integrated network. With the release of Redwood Connect 2.0, we've introduced a drag and drop interface, which empowers users to choose from a menu of pre-built connections, including transformations, inbound API endpoints, flexible outbound transmission methods, routines, metadata extraction, etc. All available in a simple, intuitive UI, which empowers business side users to create new integrations without ever pulling in IT resources. Now, throughout development, we invested heavily in efficiency-focused features, such as the ability to implement dynamic message routing, retry logic, and custom exception handling, but also extended out to collaboration-centric features, like design time commenting, messaging, and a simple but, and this is important, but a controlled deployment process, allowing you to move your processes from one environment to another with a strict controlled methodology. Now, one of the biggest challenges for companies using common integration platforms or VAN service providers is a lack of visibility into the integrated message data. Redwood Connect's Monitor View allows users to view messages in flight in a real-time UI and provides the ability to search for specific references, filter based on different statuses, or even access global or process level views, all from a single global UI. Now, finally, with our growing marketplace of pre-built connectors, we're able to open the door to an entire ecosystem of new technology providers and system-based solutions by simply installing a connector, entering service credentials. Redwood's platform connects shippers with the partners that they need most, and we also welcome all of those partners to enter that marketplace. So I knew we were going to come in a little under. We do have some time here. I want to open it up to any questions.
So I think I've asked you this question before, but I'll fill in a couple of minutes for you. So how does the software and the rest of your company interact as far as your go-to-market strategy?
That is a great question. So this software and the rest of the company, and for anybody who is unfamiliar with Redwood as a whole, we are a full diverse 3PL offering that includes a brokerage, a managed transportation group, assets, a Mexico division, as well as Redwood Platform Services, which is our consulting and integration team. And so essentially the way that we view that as is a with you or for you model. And so our integration platform becomes an enablement tool for the rest of those offerings. So when we look at, managed transportation is a great example. Any of our customers that are out to bid for managed transportation, you're going to see all of the big players that are out there, and I won't even name them by name, but we all know their logos in our heads. And so of those competitors, the biggest difference is this: without an integration platform and some true focus on the functional flow of data, essentially what you're ending up with is a commodity as it pertains to managed transportation. And so when you want to look at true differentiation, you need the ability to add that flexibility in and actually let your software applications fit the model rather than making your model fit those software applications. And so that's what the integration technology is doing for us. It's creating this flexible freight management structure that opens up commercial possibilities as well as operational possibilities.